The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole.
Y'all ready to get rolling? Quiet on the set. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Golden Boot. It's your boy Pooh Bear. Got my man Aunt Petty Murphy in the building. It's good, my boy.
What's happening, dog?
Not much, man. Not much. I had to come in on a new little bop. You know
Yeah.
Do something different. But I do want to let me go ahead and get this out the way now. Happy birthday to Rev. Happy birthday, Pop. Love you. You know, wish you the best. He probably somewhere somebody gave him a free meal, so he out there eating something.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. He deserves to get a bunch of them today.
Yeah, he do.
Happy birthday, Pops.
Also, man, I want to say, I don't know how many it is, but it's too many Sundays and Saturdays without football in our lives right now. And we need to get down to
we ain't got long. It'll be here before you know it.
Yeah. I can say that at least on HBCU hour, you know what I'm saying, we are talking football now, you know what I'm saying, team by team. We hadn't started on over here yet, but it's about to start soon because we're gonna have to talk some football over here. I'm gonna go crazy.
There ain't nothing wrong with that, brother. You know, I'm always down to talk pigskin.
Yeah. But other than that, man, we got a couple things to get to today. Definitely a good, a great day to be a Tiger fan. But we're gonna get to it, man. But before we do, man, you know what we got to do, man. We got to give a shout out to our sponsors over at BetOnline. BetOnline.ag. We'll be back in 1 minute. BetOnline.ag is your number one source for all your sports information, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds, lines, and player injury reports for this year's NBA and NHL playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters. This season, we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. We have everything from NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL to golf, tennis, UFC, and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games that you can play right from your home. Head on over to betonline.ag today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use the promo code BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey, and we are back, man. Definitely want to send a shout out to all those watching, tuning in. We do appreciate you. Like we always say, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. We appreciate that. Don't forget, subscribe, like, share to your friends. Let everybody know that we are here providing what little news there is to provide. But we telling it to you. Man, last Friday I was off work. It was LSU Day on the SEC Network.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun. I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed watching some of those games. Again, they had the softball, two of the softball games. They had the LSU versus women versus Georgia, LSU women versus Tennessee. Of course, they had the LSU women's national championship game. They had the baseball national championship game, and then they finished it off with the LSU versus Bama in football.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great time to be a Tiger, man. It's the year of LSU. And it could get a little better here in about, I don't know, another hour or so when one of our Tigers could be bringing home a FIBA America Cup gold medal. They up right now 33-27 on Brazil, the USA team, Angel Reese and them. So, I mean, it could keep getting, rich get richer if you LSU.
Right.
And look like she finna go to the free throw line here too. So, I mean, and if you look at it, I know we're gonna talk about little hoops a little later, but what's so amazing to me about this FIBA team for the women right now, the team that Angel Reese is on is they finna win the gold medal, and the oldest person on their team is 22 years old. They hooping against grown women. Like this Brazil team has 31-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 28, 29-year-olds.
This isn't like the 23 under or,
No, this
or
ain't this is because like for the WNBA players, it's in season now.
That's
you know what I'm saying? So our college girls are basically picking up the mantle for the pros, and I mean honestly, they're holding their own.
That's what's up, man. It's good to see them.
Knock it down.
It's good to see them doing that. Where's that being shown? Where's that being?
I'm watching it online. You got to set up an account and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
But it ain't easy to find. But Brazil making a comeback right now though. But it's still the first half, so long way to go. But either way though, just for LSU to be represented on this team by Angel Reese, just goes to show that the level of success they have in this year.
Yeah, and she did have a double last game.
She just broke the record.
And 18
she broke the record for most rebounds through 6 games. She got over 70 rebounds through 6 games.
Wow.
Yeah.
Definitely the rich get richer. Because I was like literally Friday watching that game against Iowa, and I was so amazed. I was like watching. I was like, man, Carson. Carson had a really good season, but for her to come in a championship game like that and do what she did, Samaya Smith to come off because when you watch,
huge this year.
Oh my God! When you look at those people, let me rephrase. We looked at those young ladies who stepped up, came off the bench to, get fill up that slack when you had, Poole, Morris, Williams, and Angel Reese. Angel Reese ain't played the entire second quarter. And I didn't realize that until I was watching that game, rewatching it. She did not play that entire second quarter and did some, for those backups, like that. So
I think Samaya gonna be huge next year, especially when you consider like the LaDasia Williams role for this season. Kind of being that starter, holding up opposing centers, letting Angel kind of do what Angel does best, and play that power forward role. And when you look at some of the transfers the SEC got this year, and Ole Miss getting the long way from Arizona, like you're gonna have to have that true center to help Angel out, and Anissa to a certain extent, help them out down low. And especially when you want to look at, I think one Angel just keep going to the line back to back. But when you start looking at who I think could be a sleeper team that LSU might have to see next year, and USC, they got Lauren Betts,
right,
who might be the best center in the country. And you're gonna have to have somebody that can go. You know what I'm saying? So I think Samaya is gonna be huge. Not just her, but the freshman we're bringing in.
Rio.
Yeah, we're gonna need a lot from her as well. So I think Samaya might be the unsung hero when it's all said and done for this team this
year. Yeah. What's good, Josh? Josh in the building. This old vet, ODB. Man, appreciate y'all for coming through. I was gonna say, shout out to our sponsor. I forgot we already did.
Hey, while we talking about women's basketball, I do want to say this. It's very apparent to me that a lot of media members don't watch the WNBA.
I got this on the list. Let's go with it. Let's go there. Talk about it.
All right, so the NBA announces the in-season tournament. That's been in the works for a while, and everybody just seems so confused by it. Like, well, what do you mean some games are gonna be in the tournament, some games aren't gonna count? You know, like it just seems like there's massive confusion in it. When all of these people who seem to be confused, all you gotta do is watch the WNBA. The WNBA has the Commissioner's Cup.
Mm-hmm.
They've been doing it all season to where you can keep up with what games count toward the what games don't. So if you paid attention to the WNBA, this wouldn't be such a foreign concept to you. This wouldn't seem like some radical thing that the NBA is doing. You would have an understanding of it already. So to me, all these basketball heads, all they did was show that they don't really watch the WNBA.
These are also some of the same critics who, going back to that championship game, had problem with, you know, saying, oh, you know, saying Angel Reese made this signal towards Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark would never do anything like that. Obviously, you're not watching the games. Man, obviously, you haven't seen over the women's basketball. I'll tell you, women's basketball. First of all, women's sports as a whole is probably one of the most brutal, some of the most brutal sports. Like soccer, women's soccer, they get down with. I love it because I love the intensity of it, and they're not out there pouting, they're not flopping and stuff like that. Women's basketball, they talk so much trash.
I just say this: if Angel Reese was hated, like by her phone, like her fellow competitor, I sure can't tell from watching this because it's halftime and she just walked off hugged up with one of her teammates. So if they felt like there was a problem with what she did, or if they had some kind of beef with her, it sure ain't apparent to me.
All right.
And by the way, USA is up 37-35 at half, by the way, but go ahead.
Good stuff. I'm glad you said that. Angel Reese and Flage won the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne. I just so happened to randomly see a clip, but they were on there with Charlamagne and Envy talking about their relationship. It's like how they got cool and stuff. And they were talking and said a lot of people on the team didn't like Flage when she first got there because it wasn't so much of like anything personal. She was really good, but she talked a lot of trash. And as a freshman coming in talking trash like that, they didn't like it and stuff until, you know, saying and Angel Reese was like, hey, you know, since she kind of talked to us, like, you can't talk to me, you know, so you can't talk to everybody like you talk to me because not everybody from where we from or understand like that. Yeah. And it comes to Angel Reese has said it. A lot of it comes from her playing basketball with her older brothers. Yeah, exactly. You know, and it's funny because people want WNBA basketball and women's basketball to resemble the men's game so much.
But they're two different sports.
Exactly. But they want it to resemble so much. And one of the first thing, man, they don't dunk over, they don't do that.
Actually, Brittany Griner dunked today, by the way.
So it's funny, you know, but they say that kind of stuff, and then it brings me to one of the next things. One of the other topics I had is the world catching up with the U.S. in basketball, or is it just that the U.S. is getting too far away from fundamentals?
Yes,
gotcha.
Two things could be true.
Yes.
I think there definitely is. All right, so the NBA did a great job in the early 90s with the Dream Team, and then later on in the late 90s going to Africa. We're going to Africa and other places, but they grew the game. And like the Dream Team, you know, with Jordan and all them guys going and dominating people in the Olympics, like the Europeans over there, that's whenever they already knew basketball. They had already, you know, been playing, but that's whenever it like really blew up over there and it became mainstream in a sense. And then when they buy all of these, you know, NBA Africa and all these kind of things, the game is growing in other places as well. So what happens is you have more people who know about the game, you have more people who play the game. Therefore, just by numbers, they're going to be better at it. More people do it, you're going to have more people who are good at it. So your overall talent is going to improve. And the NBA, whether you want to blame AAU, whatever you want to blame, has gotten away from fundamentals in a sense. And it's been more of just go get buckets. You know what I'm saying? Type of basketball game, and to where it's hurt us on that global stage. Now, if you want to talk about just talent for talent, nobody can compete with the United States. It's not even close. But the reason that they beat us is we don't have big men who are true big men. They do. And the European game is played differently than the NBA game. The NBA game is based on perimeter oriented, and like the rule changes are different. Like the lane is wide, all these kind of different things that affect how you play the game. So European basketball isn't played like the NBA, but we have everybody in America trying to play like they're in the NBA. Even when you're in 7th grade, 8th grade, you're trying to play like you in the NBA instead of learning the true fundamentals of the game. And then whenever you get to the point to where you can be in the NBA, play like you in the NBA. You muted, bro.
Yeah, my bad. I noticed as soon as I did it. ODB brings up this, said, and I remember when this happened. He said there's a video of Shaq suggesting the WNBA should lower the rim by 1 inch to allow more dunks. So what do y'all think about that?
Well, inch ain't gonna do nothing. First of all,
yeah. First of all, we not gonna.
But you know what I'm saying.
Hold on, I do want to say inches count. Pause. But
it's only a few people who work in inches, and that's carpenters and that's prostitutes, and I ain't neither one of them. So, but I think he suggested to lower it by a foot is what he said, to 9 feet. No, bro, no, I'm not with that.
So with him saying that, have you seen the 8.5 foot basketball league?
Yes, I do want to play that though. I want to be in that league.
That seems fun because everybody, like big dudes,
everybody dunking on everybody.
Everybody dunking on everybody. But I will say one thing I do love about the women's game is the pure, like the fundamentals of it, like the ball handling.
Better basketball.
The ball handling skills, and I know there's a joke there. I'm not going there, but the
no,
ball handling skills, the shots.
It's better basketball though. Like if we're being like. The talent level, obviously, nowhere near. You know what I'm saying? But if you're talking strictly the game of basketball, the art of basketball is better. I mean, point blank, period. I don't know how there's any argument there. I mean, in the women's game is more physical most of the time than the men's game. It's more of what the like this is what kills me. All right, you got all these guys who talking about, man, the NBA soft. The NBA, I miss back in the day whenever, they banged down low and you had big men who were real big. That's what women's basketball is. It's everything that you complain or claim that you miss about men's basketball. Women's basketball gives you that. They give you true post games with great footwork. They give you physicality. They give you all of that, but because they don't dunk, we don't want to watch it.
I love watching WNBA players. Or even like Van Lift when she was doing like working out somewhere against dudes regular who talk trash, killing them. It's a young lady on.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
it's the young lady on Twitter
or something like that.
Angie,
something like that.
Her form is like very.
Her shot so quick. It's like she get her shot off, so it's ridiculous, dog. But man, like. WNBA, bro, like Aaliyah Boston got some of the best footwork I've ever seen in my life, bro. Like it's up there with Hakeem, Tim Duncan. Like it's elite level footwork. She could score on whatever dude you want to put on her in the NBA because her footwork is that good. But she's not gonna get credit for it because she don't dunk it after she drop step. You know what I'm saying? And so it's crazy to me. But I feel like. Back to the lower and the gold question from ODB. I understand the premise, but like think about it like this, okay? Think about every gym would have to either have 2 sets of goals or you had to be able to lower your goal before it. So how many high schools and junior highs and all that will be able to do that, first of all? And second of all, it's like, at what point are you gonna start that? You're gonna start that when they're little, you're gonna start it when they get to high school, you're gonna wait till they like. I don't like it doesn't make sense logically to me.
Yeah.
And you can't wait till they get to the WNBA. You're gonna play on a 10-foot goal your whole life. All of a sudden you get to the NBA. Now we're gonna drop it 9 feet. Now you gotta do it whenever they in like, Little league.
college.
You know what I'm saying? No, like you got to start them
Oh
out
yeah,
there.
you're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
because
so
even
like
your angles where you shoot gonna change.
all that, everything's gonna change.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then if you're a school, like, are you gonna? All right, girls, game over. Time to raise the goal up a foot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just seems like so much logistically unnecessary stuff. Like, all because we want to see more people dunk.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's the only. Like, what other argument is there other than we want to see dunks? Like, no other argument but dunks. That's all you listen. They block shots, they make threes, they cross people over, they do everything but dunk. That's the only thing you want to see, a dunk. Something that was outlawed in basketball at one point in time. So it's not necessarily for the game to exist. You don't have to have dunks. They outlawed it at one point in time. So it ain't like it's an integral part of the game that you got to have. It ain't like a free throw. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like that you got to have it. So why is it so important?
Yeah. You made me. I forgot just that quick.
My bad, though.
No, it's good. It's all good. Oh, there it is. WNBA. The WNBA reminds me of like a IPA, a beer, or something like that. You have to you know what I'm saying, if you watch it enough of stuff, you acquire a taste for it and enjoy it for what it is. So
and stop trying to compare it to what it ain't.
Yeah.
Like what I always compared it to was like you remember back in the day whenever there was like real bands or like R&B groups, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And then you had that one group that you kind of rocked with, but ain't nobody else really rocked with them because they like, man, they not Jodeci, you know what I'm saying? They not Drew Hill, and you're like, well, duh, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's like you can appreciate how good it is without trying to say, well, it ain't this. You know what I'm saying? Like the WNBA is the highest level of women's basketball in the world. In the world, Craig. You can appreciate it for what it is, man, and stop trying to compare it to the NBA.
Yeah. Speaking of WNBA, I know we've been on it for a minute. The All-Stars have been named.
Ryan Howard got robbed. Yeah, I said it.
So who got robbed?
Ryan Howard from the Atlanta Dream, 2022 #1 overall draft pick. She got robbed. Ask me who I'm taking off. I have no idea, but she got robbed.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. The teams, Team Wilson, you got Asia Wilson, of course, Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, Aaliyah Boston,
she got
Arik. Yeah, she do. I'm looking. Thank you. Because that wasn't gonna sound like that.
I got you.
Kelsey Plum, Alicia Gray, Alisa Thomas,
AT. That's my dog.
Chaney Parker, Dewana Barner, Cheyenne Parker, and then Elena Deladon. She rolled.
But she injured though. She probably gonna have a reserve come in for her, which in my opinion should be Ryan Howard. You know what I'm saying? No bias or nothing, but she's not. Ryan's a guard, Elena's a big, so I don't know if they're gonna actually, make that reserve swap. But Ryan Howard should be an all-star. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah. Then for Team Stewart, you got Brianna Stewart, you got Brittany Griner, Jewel Lloyd, Satou Sabali,
Satou Sabali.
Her too.
Sabali.
There you go. Anika come on with it. Come on with it.
Nneka Ogwumike.
Yeah, her. Courtney Vandersloot, Sabrina Ionescu, Ezzy Magbagor, Nafisa Collier, Kelsey Mitchell, and Kalia Cooper. Listen, if you got a problem with me pronouncing these,
I think you did a good job, sir.
Watch the game. I dare you do that. So
I think you did a good job. All right, let's go ahead and the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Brittany Griner, I love you, but we all know why you're an all-star.
She been playing well?
She been playing well, but she's on the worst team in the league. And there are other players who may be more deserving. I understand why she's an all-star. I actually voted for her to be an all-star. So disclaimer. But we all know why. I admit why I voted for her. You know what I'm saying? It was not gonna say sympathy vote, but it was more so an acknowledgement of what you had been through. You deserve to have that moment vote. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to bring up this. It's finna be controversial, but damn it, I don't care. NBA 2K. Why in the hell is Sabrina Ionescu on the cover next year?
Who you think should be on the cover?
Start naming names. I'll tell you when to stop. Asia Wilson for 1, Breanna Stewart for 2. Candace Parker for 3. If you wanted to say somebody, because you got Kobe on the the 2K version. So if you wanted to say the women version was somebody who's related to Kobe, Jewel Lord is right there, ladies and gentlemen. Jewel Lord is someone who Kobe, out of his own mouth, said is like a little sister to him. Perfect right there. I feel like the WNBA.
I thought Ionescu was one. Would be one.
She was the one from Oregon, and her and Kobe was cool because Kobe kind of watched her play a few times. Yeah. But Jewel Lord and Kobe actually had a year-long standing relationship. Jewel Lord had been in the league. She was already a Nike athlete. They had been met for a long time, and so I just have I feel like Sabrina, and it's not a shot at her because it's not her doing, but I feel like she's being forced down the throats of the fans whenever she isn't the best. All right, on the New York Liberty, she's probably the 3rd or 4th best player.
You're right.
On her own team. She got 2 MVPs on the team with her and Courtney Vandersloot. So I just feel like y'all are forcing her down our throats whenever there's people who are more deserving, who actually have the body of work, who actually have the championships, who have the MVPs, the defensive player of the year, whatever you want to look at, they got that to go behind it too. Not just, oh, I knew Kobe, or I got the reputation, or I put up some numbers. Like, she puts up good numbers, true.
Right.
But she ain't Jewel Lord. She ain't Breanna Stewart. She ain't Asia Wilson. She damn sure ain't Candace Parker. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel you.
I mean, she might not be Enrique Agumawale. You know what I mean? Like, if we want to be like keep it a buck, like that, I just feel like this show, to me, this show that 2K ain't in tune with the WNBA and the fan base and kind of like the community, WNBA community, and how they feel. Because I feel like casual fans of the WNBA know Sabrina Ionescu because of the way he got pushed when she was at Oregon. But since she's been in the league, I don't feel like she's that same player that she was given credit for. And then she's a great player, but she's not a top 5, top 10 player in the league. And there's no knocking her. It's just credit to the players who are on that level.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say, with it being a young league like it is, I wouldn't.
Is it a young league?
It's 20. Well, relatively speaking.
Oh, you talking about? Okay, I get what you're saying. You talking about? Okay, my fault. I get what you're talking about. You talking about the league as a whole, not like the players in the league.
Not
yeah. Okay, I thought you were saying like the players. I get what you're saying. You talking about
with it being a relatively
the origin of the league. Yeah,
origin. There you go.
Years.
Yeah, with it being such a young league, what you may say WNBA GOAT and your top player, the gap isn't so far. I mean, it's
I'm with you. But if we're talking historically,
oh, trust me, I know. Because I can name some.
Y'all finna make it seem like I'm being mean to this girl, but if we're talking historically, just in that franchise alone,
right?
Like, people forget the New York Liberty went to like 3 or 4 straight finals, WNBA finals, like the inaugural finals. You know what I mean? Like, Rebecca Lobo and Teresa Weatherspoon and them, like They had some dogs on their team. Like you ain't, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to make this a I hate Sabrina Ionescu segment. All I'm saying is like, it's not her fault. She didn't ask for any of this. It's like the Arch Manning thing. It ain't his fault, but it's gonna seem like we hating on him. It's not her fault, but there's other people who more deserving, who need the recognition, who deserve the recognition.
Yeah. Paul's Hub says the subscriber count for the channel needs an altar call. Can I have that unholy number?
So somebody just gonna have to subscribe then.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, we are at 666 subscribers right now. We would love to add several hundred more, but at this time, I need somebody. Just give us one. Oh man. All right, man. You ready to talk baseball real quick, man? So
I guess.
All right. The worst kept secret of all times. Paul Skenes, Dylan Crews, go 1-2 in the MLB draft. Paul Skenes is the first overall pick and the first pick to the Pittsburgh Pirates. That was kind of in question.
You was right.
That was kind of I said I said Paul Skenes. I
said Crews, but yeah.
You said Crews. Yeah, that's right, because I had heard somebody else talk about because they had a player in the outfield player they don't want to do.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
Now I was gonna say that was in question because unfortunately the Pittsburgh Pirates have been notoriously cheap, have tried to underbid a lot of their draft picks. So at one point it was looking like they weren't going to get Crews or Skenes, and they were going to pick up a high school guy just because they felt they could possibly get him cheaper. They ended up getting Skenes, and so that was huge for LSU fans. I think that was the best move for the Pirates. And so, because you got a guy who can maybe not immediately, but give him a few weeks. He you know what I'm saying, let him get up to speed or whatever. And
he already up to speed. It's just more so about him getting acclimated with this, you know what I'm saying, with what they do there.
And the reason why I say that get up to speed because I know like at my job I have to do onboarding and you have to do it all to make
it. Could you imagine him? Hey Paul, you can't pitch yet. You ain't in your workplace violence video.
Hey Paul, you've got sharp training, and then after that you've got to do
you got to do
workplace violence. Yeah. You got
workplace violence, sexual harassment. You got to watch all them videos first.
Yeah.
But I was on the radio with Fox Friday, and I said I think it was possible that this didn't happen. And part of the reason why was because of the fact that a pitcher hadn't gone number 1 overall since 2018. Dylan Crews reportedly asked for $10 million, and you just talked about how the Pirates have been notoriously cheap or frugal in recent memory. So I knew they wasn't finna pay $10 million for Crews. And so I did think it was a very good possibility that Langford or Max Clark went number 1 just because of those reasons. But like Fox said, I think if you Pittsburgh, you got a guy who, and like you said, can come in and help you immediately. The reason why I didn't think that they would go Skenes, or one of the reasons why, is because they don't really need nobody to help them immediately. They're not finna be, you know what I'm saying, in contention for anything this year. You know what I'm saying? So I think that they could have kind of went for the long-term play in a sense, but they decided to go with one of the best 2 players. Like, if I can't get Crews and he the best because he $10 million, then let me settle for the next best. And I mean, if you want to say settle for the best pitcher we've seen in baseball in a while, you know what I'm saying? So I think that it worked out good for them because they got somebody who could either come in right away and kind of anchor that bullpen, or in 2 years could be the face of your rotation. And the Nationals got a guy who could be the face of the franchise.
Yes.
Because
see this, and I'm glad you said. what you just talked about with the Pittsburgh as far as settling. I don't know if you listen to it because I was watching like the first two picks and stuff, or actually the first probably half the first round. But what they were talking about with the Nationals, their drafting philosophy. Whichever one of them LSU guys that the Pittsburgh don't pick, that's who we gonna pick.
Exactly.
So
exactly. But yeah, so like, but for them it worked out perfect because obviously in the past 4 years or so they've lost Bryce Harper, Anthony Rendon, Juan Soto, Trey Turner. You know what I mean? The list goes on, and not just the pitching staff. They lost Scherzer, they lost Strasburg. You know what I mean? Or I think Strasburg might still be there. But you know what I mean? They lost all these different pieces to that team. Nobody really knows who the face of that franchise is right now. So you get a guy like Dylan Cruz who could come in and who could be that face of the franchise, which and also they need that not only just for baseball purposes on the field, but ticket sales and things of that nature too. You know, you got a guy who kind of can rejuvenate that fan base. But Paul's Hub with a hell of a comment right there, my boy. Skenes and Red Lauder are division rivals now, with Red Lauder going to the Reds. And hey, Red Lauder, he gained a fan in me after that performance we had. Man, that guy pitched his ass off. And he's a hell of a pitcher. And he's going to a team that is loaded. It could be a situation where Lauder has more team success, but Skenes has more individuals. You know what I'm saying? Like one of them, to where when you compare them in 10 years, one looks better because he was drafted by a better team.
I'm looking at the draft, like going through recapping who's been picked so far, and I'm looking LSU beat to win a championship, the number 4 pick and the number 7 pick, and then where he's down here somewhere. The Atlanta Braves picked up Waldrop from Florida. So
from Hurst Waldrop. Oh, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. Did the first baseman from Wake Forest get drafted, or the first or third baseman from Wake Forest get drafted?
I haven't seen them drafted yet. Let me double check.
I know I did pick the first round, so I didn't know.
Enrique Bradford got picked up by the Orioles, if I'm not mistaken. I'm scrolling. Yep. Enrique Bradford got picked up by the Orioles.
I know the shortstop for Ole Miss got drafted because there was like 4 straight shortstops got drafted, and he was one of
them. The third baseman from Wake Forest got picked up.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. I have not seen the first base, but I'm scrolling kind of fast, so let me double check. Let's see. Yeah. Red Lauder. Let's see. Dolander from Tennessee got picked up. Mm-hmm. He got picked up by the Rockies at number 9. I'm trying to think what was the team that it wasn't Florida Atlantic. But Florida Atlantic had a guy first baseman picked up. Let's see. Ole Miss had a shortstop.
So with Paul Skenes going number 1 tonight, LSU is now officially the only school in the country with number 1 picks in all 4 major drafts.
They already had that. Ben McDonald.
Oh, then why did it say?
I don't know.
SEC just posted it 29 minutes
ago. Go ahead, because it might be more to it. Because
no, I just said the only one with number 1 picks in all 4 major drafts: the NBA, NFL, WNBA, MLB.
Yeah, they already because Ben McDonald's a number 1 pick. Now I will say they talked about it about as far as LSU being the number 1 of the only school to have like I forget, it was like
Or maybe they're the only one with multiple.
Maybe it is. That might
Because
be
we've had multiple in football, we've
multiple
had
in
multiple
baseball.
in baseball now, we've had multiple in basketball with Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons and
Yeah,
Shaq.
yeah.
Maybe in the
Simone and Sylvia. Did Sylvia
I'm
go number one?
that's a good question. But yeah, that would make sense. Multiple. Um, I do know. I think, and I don't know. Pause up if you the you know what I'm saying or Julian. I don't know Julian on. I
No,
think
she
LSU
went
made.
number two.
I think LSU made history by being the only the first school to have 1 and 2 in
Yeah,
the
that's
in the
true. That's
in
true.
the
Yeah,
MLB.
that we did make history with that.
So I think that was dope. Um, man, this goes to a testament of this team and who they are, who they were this season. Everything that they went through.
Okay. I
Okay, you
read this
found
wrong. I
okay.
read this wrong. Yeah, it didn't say that now we are. It just says that LSU is the only
Oh,
school.
yeah.
So it did this didn't make that the case, but it just so they've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, some 8 first number one overall picks in 4 major sports.
I did see something that Preston put up. In the SEC, LSU is number one with total
Total
national
titles,
titles.
yeah,
Uh, it was at
51.
51.
Mm-hmm.
So, so that's something to toot your nose up. You know what I'm saying? People get you know what I'm saying. Go ahead, put your pink up. Uh, I do want to stick with baseball for a minute. This was almost an altar call. By the way, we're not doing altar call tonight.
You can make it your altar call because I got one too.
We got okay. Well, shoot. If we make this altar call, I'm ready to go now.
All right, go ahead.
All right, here we go. We're gonna hold on. He said Brandon Reese trying to says JJ having 2 players drafted back to back is a great
Big
recruiting tool
facts.
going forward. Hey, amazing recruiting tool. Because not many people can say that at all. So, but here we go. All right. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you can.
All right, here we go. Hey, I want to call Ellie Dela Cruz to the front of the congregation. Nah, you ain't doing that wrong, man. I just want to say, I want to give a big shout out. Uh, Ellie went up to bat this past week. I think they were going against the Reds, maybe. I can't remember who they were going up against. But the manager basically said something about his bat. His bat has a irregular shaped knob on it. I think it's more for like grip. It has nothing to do with performance or anything. But they called it, you know what I'm saying? Basically it was ruled legal by the MLB. uh, the opposing coach called it out, and uh, the umpires ruled it illegal. But then they came back and reviewed and you know saw that it had been approved and ruled it legal again. It was a mess. So when you have stuff like this, how do you respond? He came back and he hit a home run and he watched it. He stood there and watched the home run, and then after he did it, he took the end of the bat and pointed to the knob, dropped his bat, and ran the bases. The opposing coach said, "Hey, he's a phenomenal guy. I just don't think he needs to do, you know, what I'm saying, be dealing with all these tactics, these antics." That's what it was. Um, he then, I think it was the next game, maybe the same game, and we've all seen this. He got a hit, got on base, then he stole second, then he stole third, and then he stole home. And I'll say that's probably one of the most exciting things I've seen in a long time. It was very Jackie Robinson esque, uh, very very entertaining to watch, and I was something that I think baseball needs. Man, bring back that excitement, bring back that joy in watching. You know, what I'm saying guys play for the love of the game, and get over these unwritten rules. Get out your feelings.
And Ellis should be at the All-Star game. I don't care that he started the season in the minor league. I don't care. He's one of the best players in the league. Put the boy in the All-Star game. Now, for my out call, I would like to call out everybody who is overreacting to Victor Wembanyama's summer league game. Not just Victor Wembanyama. Any draft picks. It's summer league, people. It's not even preseason. It's literally summer league. You're literally playing against people. 90% of the people who won't ever play significant minutes in the NBA. You're playing against fringe G League guys who are fighting for two-way contracts, and you're playing against other rookies for the most part, or young players in the league. This has zero bearing on whether or not you will be a good player. Zero. I've seen plenty of people go to summer league and be great and then flop whenever the real season comes. I've seen people go to summer league and be average and then turn out to be great players. You can't overreact to a summer league game, especially one game at that. What was it, a bad performance? Yes, it was. But people have bad games all the time. It's one summer league game, people. Calm down. He's not a bust because he had a bad summer league game. Can we stop with all these overreactions, the instant overreactions to everything, whether it's good or bad? We automatically make it go to one extreme or the other. Just give it time, people. Let the man's career develop before we start making judgments, man.
I do want to say that Trae Young had a terrible first game in the summer league, and he turned out very well.
It's not. I mean, it's a bunch of guys you can pull up who were bad, and you can pull up a bunch of guys who was balling in the summer league, and you know where they at now.
Yeah. Also, with that said, Victor Wembanyama, the worst thing he did was hit Britney Spears.
I mean, that wasn't even him.
I know. I know.
But I say this though. I will say this, and we can leave on this note. Mm-hmm. The brother wasn't in America a week and already beat a white woman lying on him allegation. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If you cannot say destined for greatness better than saying that right there. 1 week in America and you already done beat the case. I mean, you destined for greatness, dog. I'm just saying.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's been our show for tonight.
Just saying.
Oh man, but yeah, that's just man. It's been a good one, man. We'll be back on next Sunday. Until the season starts, we'll be doing Golden Boot on Sundays.
But come check out HBCU out tomorrow. We're finna talk about a team that's in Baton Rouge.
We definitely are. We definitely are, man. So y'all come through, check it out. Who got tomorrow? FAMU and Southern.
FAMU and Southern, yes, sir.
So all right.
Possible championship matchup.
Ooh, that's a good call.
Possible.
All right, like that.
Don't let G hear me say that.
This show was presented by betonline.ag.
Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on Twitter at Golden Boot. On Instagram at Golden Boot. On YouTube at The Golden Boot Pod. On Facebook at The Golden Boot Pod.